Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the undergraduate webinar series, an interactive online platform connecting high school students to the Ashoka community. In this series, we'll cover all the topics related to Ashoka's undergraduate program. Our esteemed faculty and academic counselors will guide the students in understanding the various aspects of the university, be it academics, career, admissions, student life, and other topics as well. I'll commence by introducing myself. My name is Sanskriti Sharma, and I'm a second year undergraduate student at Ashoka. I'm pursuing economics with a minor in psychology. I would like to thank all of you for joining us for today's session called Need-Based Financial Aid at Ashoka University. Please feel free to post any questions that you may have in the Q&A box below. We'll be taking them up at the end of the session. So we have with us today Ms. Rina Vetrivel, who is the Senior Manager at the Office of Financial Aid at Ashoka University. Hello, ma'am.
Hi, Sanskriti. Thank you for introducing me. Let me just
Hello.
start my screen share.
Right.
Okay, can you see the screen now? Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Ashoka University's webinar on financial aid. My name is Rina Vetrivel, and as Sanskriti said, I work in the Office of Financial Aid. And today I will take you through the process and the philosophy of financial aid at Ashoka University, why we give financial aid, and how you can also avail of this benefit. Okay, so what is Ashoka's financial aid philosophy? At Ashoka, we are committed to making our world-class education accessible and affordable for all students from all walks of life. And this is made possible through a need-based financial aid. And this financial aid is given irrespective of any background of the student. And giving financial aid is also one of the key components of carrying out the commitment that we have to our students. Just to give you an idea of how strongly we believe in this philosophy, on campus currently, there are approximately 48% of our undergraduate students on some form of financial aid or the other. So given our philosophy, we follow a need-blind admissions and a need-based financial aid support, as opposed to other universities and scholarship programs, which focus mainly on the merit of the candidate. To explain this in a little more detail, while we are considering your application for admission to the university, we do not ask for any income details or any other financial details, and we do not consider them when considering your admission to Ashoka. Admission is based entirely on a holistic assessment of your academic merit and other educational merits. However, financial aid is assessed entirely on the basis of the financial standing of your family. So every student who is eligible for this need-based support can receive anywhere from a 25% waiver on tuition to a waiver on all costs at studying at Ashoka. And this waiver also includes hostel and meals. So our aim really as part of this program is to help bridge the gap between the cost of the fees that we charge and you and your family's ability to pay. So let's look at how it looks for the undergraduate program. So since the beginning of the program, about 47% of students have received some form of financial aid grants from us. And this for the for the students on campus right now, it's about 61% have received partial tuition waivers. This is anywhere between 25% to a 90% tuition waiver. And 39% have received a minimum of 100% waiver, tuition waiver, all the way up to a hostel and meal waiver as well. So who can apply for financial aid at Ashoka? Any student who has received a firm offer of admission can apply for financial aid. As I just mentioned before, that when we give you an offer of admission, we only look at your academic merit. And once you are made an offer, the financial aid process is enabled for you. And it's only at that time that every student is eligible to apply for financial aid. So let's look at the calendar. For round one, the offers of admission should be announced somewhere in this week of the 8th to the 13th January. So when your offer letter is sent to you, the financial aid process for you begins at that time. So please make a note of this date and mark it in your calendar. So when you know that the cycle begins, you can be prepared and you can apply for financial aid. So how can you apply? So currently the process for applying for admission is you send in your application, you are shortlisted, and then you are also called for a personal interview. So when you receive your email for the personal interview, you will be given instructions if you are looking at applying for financial aid to start preparing the documents and the information that is required. So I would suggest that at this point, you go to the financial aid page of the Ashoka website, you download the sample financial aid form, and you start preparing all the information and the documents that is required. Once you receive a firm offer of admission, the financial aid form will be enabled on the Ashoka portal. You will be sent some instructions in your offer email, and you will have only 5 days to complete and submit the form. So as you only have 5 days, you should remember that 5 days is not enough time to source all the documents and the information that we ask for. So we would like you to use the time from the time you receive the email at the time of your personal interview to start preparing very seriously if you are considering applying for financial aid. So let me also go through what sort of information we require from you in the financial aid form. The form has 5 main sections. So one section relates to your personal and family details. This is where we ask for information of where you have studied, where you stay, details about your family members, what are their occupations, and you can give a brief description of what your parents do as well. The next section is the earning member details. So you will have to provide all details relating to your earning members. They can be your parents, they can also be grandparents if they live with you and are earning, whoever is the main earning member, and details relating to them. So their ITRs, their salary slips, their bank statements, and documents of that nature. The next main section is for business families. So if you are submitting any details relating to your family's business, you will need to provide any ITRs of that business, any documents relating to profit and loss or balance sheet, any bank statements relating to that business, the Form 26 also, and any other details that you think may be pertinent, maybe also a description of what sort of business your family runs. The next section relates to the wealth and expense section. So here is your chance to disclose whatever details relate to the assets and expenses. So if you have any main expenses that are non-discretionary expenses, like rents that you pay, loan payments that you make, any school fees paid to your sibling, this is your chance to disclose all that information. Just one thing I want to point out, if you're mentioning any expenses which are like loans, loan payments and school fees, also have the supporting proof for it. The loan documents you will have to submit, but any other expenses we may ask for later. So just be prepared that you have the documents ready. Now the last section is the comment section. And this is a mandatory section. And here really is your opportunity to explain why you feel you need financial aid. This is not a section for you to plead for financial aid on merit grounds or sports abilities. It's purely on financial basis. So if you feel there are any fixed costs relating to any illnesses that your family is bearing, or any other circumstances that you feel would be useful for us to know, please mention it here. I think I should also mention that all the information that you provide is completely confidential. So please don't be afraid to share the information. It does not go anywhere. It stays with us, and it's only shared with the financial aid committee to make the final decision. So once you have completed and submitted the form, we receive all the information. We look through the documents. We verify the documents as well. And then we have a meeting with the financial aid committee, and we go through each and every candidate, and we discuss each and every student. And then we make a decision on how much aid to give if you qualify for aid. How much aid to give and if you qualify for aid, sorry. And once that is done, we notify you through the email. And then you can log into your portal and you can see your aid grant and how you can pay the fees. Now, I should tell you that since you only have 5 days to complete and submit this, if you have any questions and any clarifications on a document or an information or how to complete a certain section, please write to this email address that you see here, financialaid@ashoka.edu, before the deadline. So the deadline date is usually 5 days from the offer of admission, and it's at 6 p.m. So we are waiting usually on the email to check to see if anyone is having issues when they are submitting. But please also note that do not wait till the last minute to do this. The last 1 hour, you can face many issues. So please don't wait till the last minute. Take responsibility and start filling in the form as soon as it opens. And please submit it well in advance. And the other main thing to notice, we do not accept any information or documents on the email or by phone or in hard copy. So if it is not updated on the online system, then we do not see it. I think I should also mention that there are a number of people doing assessments, and we do not all check the email for each individual student. Each case is assigned to a case officer, and they are the only ones responsible. So they may not all have access to your documents. So please provide it only in the online form. Please submit the form, as I said, by the deadline. This deadline is never extended. It's a very hard and fast rule. We give enough information ahead of time so the student is prepared. And we also send a reminder in the middle, which also goes to the parents' email. So we take our deadline very seriously. If there is going to be any issue in submitting a form within the 5 days, please write to us and tell us why, and then we will consider your case. But once the deadline is passed, we do not take any requests. Okay. So what is your responsibility as a student and as a parent? Since it is not the student who is paying for the fees, it is a parent, it is a guardian, and sometimes it's a sponsor. So we expect that the parent, guardian, or sponsor will take complete responsibility for providing accurate and exhaustive financial information. Now, you as a student have to ensure that your parents are taking this responsibility and they are as invested as you in applying for financial aid. Ensure that you run everything by them once, because we ask for a lot of documents which you may not understand relating to businesses and ITRs. So if there is any doubt, please have your parents involved in this process at all times. The other thing I would like to mention is do not hold back any information that you think may assist you. I mean, assist your application for aid. So when we are making our decision and when we are assessing your application, we only look at what is provided in the financial aid form. We are not actually assuming circumstances that we would not be aware of. It is really very black and white. So if you have not presented it in the financial aid form, it will not be considered. And please note that once you have submitted the form, it's You can't send anything after to say that, okay, I was not given aid, but now this is another circumstance I would like to present. So please be very careful that you are presenting everything in the financial aid form. Please check and recheck every section to ensure that you have completed it and it is correct. Please go through the form twice, 3 times, have your parents also look at it before you submit it. And this is to do with documents. If you're attaching any documents which are password protected, so usually ITR returns are password protected and bank statements sometimes are password protected. Please run them through an online software to remove the password. If that is not possible, then you can submit the documents as they are, but please provide the passwords in the comment section so that we are able to access the documents. And as I just mentioned, you have to provide all the information only through this online form. Please don't submit your form and then send an email. We will not be considering it. And once we have made a decision, that decision is final, and we do not accept any other information or any other document. So please ensure that you and your family take this process seriously. You have sat and discussed this, and you have decided what you want to present. And please be honest and open. So as I just explained, there are certain times where an application can be disqualified. The main reason for disqualifying it is if the form was not filled in properly. So you mentioned some information in part 1, which was not completed in part 2. So you mentioned an earning member, but no earning member details. And you mentioned a sibling, but did not provide any details. So just ensure that you're taking this process seriously. Write out all the information and please go through each section and check that you have completed it. The other reason your application can be disqualified is if there are any discrepancies and there is any inconsistent information. This is usually when you have written a certain number as your income, but then the supporting document or the ITR is a completely other figure. That is a clear discrepancy, and that is usually highlighted as inconsistent information. So please ensure that the documentation that you're providing matches the information that you're hand typing out in the form. Please be careful when you're typing out zeros and commas. So 1 lakh doesn't look like 10 lakhs or 10 lakhs doesn't look like 1 crore. And there are no discrepancies like that. Please be very careful when you are especially handling numbers. This is one of the main also big reasons where this may actually affect your admission. If you have deliberately provided misleading or inaccurate information and you have chosen to deliberately mislead the financial aid committee, if this comes to light, your offer of admission may be revoked. So please be very careful. Take this process very seriously, and please be committed to being honest and transparent throughout this process. The other reason your application may have been disqualified is if you have mentioned a lot of financial details, but you have provided almost no supporting documents. So that is also not acceptable. Please ensure that, as I said, do not wait for the last 5 days to start looking for documents. It's going to be impossible. Some documents have to be sourced through government agencies. Some documents have to be probably sourced through your accountants, and there may be weekends and holidays. So please keep this in mind. When you get your shortlisted email for the personal interview, start collecting your documents of financial aid as if you have already got the offer. There is a 50% chance really. So it's good to take this seriously and start preparing in advance. So I think that sort of brings me to the end, but I do want to say that as I mentioned before, you may have a lot of questions, and you may have a lot of questions unique to your situation because everyone has different situations and circumstances. So if you feel that I have not covered them here, and let me just share another link. If you go on the Ashoka website to the financial aid page, look through the FAQs, look through the process that is detailed out. If you feel that I have not covered something here and your answer is not covered also in the Q&A, please go look through the FAQs of the website. If it's also not covered there, then please write to us at financialaid@ashoka.edu.in. We will be happy to answer all questions. And we would be happy to guide you through the financial aid form process, because it is a long form and it's quite an exhaustive process, and we ask for a lot of information. So please feel free to reach out to us. We would rather you reach out and clear all your confusion and present correct information than either miss the deadline or present incorrect information and risk your application being disqualified. So please reach out to us. We are happy to help you. Okay, I think that brings me to the end of the presentation. I will hand it over to the moderator now.
Thank you so much, Rina. It was indeed a very helpful session. So I think we'll take the questions now. So the first question that we have here is, are there any scholarships based on extracurricular excellence of the students?
No, there isn't. As I just mentioned, we only give aid on financial need. So we don't have any criteria set apart for academic or any other quotas.
Right. The next question is financial aid the same for college board scholarships, which require a 1300 SAT score?
So college board scholarships are run by the college board only, and their collaboration is with us to see who of their scholars have also qualified for the Ashoka admissions. So if you have applied for the college board scholarship, I think the criteria is under 8 lakhs income and above 1300 SAT scores. That's a limit. You also have to then get an admission to Ashoka and fulfill our admission criteria. You also have to apply for financial aid. I think if you're in that aid bracket, you definitely should apply for financial aid. College board also does exhaustive physical verification. So if all the parameters match, then you qualify to become a nominee in the scholarship. And out of maybe 10 students who qualify, they may select 3 or 4 per university. Depends on their internal metrics.
Okay, great. Thank you. The next question is, if I want to opt for the additional fourth year of the program, that is ASP, does the financial aid cover that as well, or do they need to reapply for the fourth year?
So the financial aid that we give in the beginning of the year covers all 3 years of your program, including the ASP fourth year. So you do not have to reapply at any point. Just be assured that once we have given a scholarship, you need to now plan your finances for 3 to 4 years. So please ensure that you plan your finances adequately for 3 to 4 years before you join the university.
Right. Okay, so someone's asking, do you have any financial concessions for students from Haryana?
So there is a Haryana fee concession, which is granted to all students from Haryana who can prove that they are Haryana residents by submitting the Haryana resident certificate. So if you don't know what that is, we will put up a link on the website, and I think admissions also may have a link. You go to the Saral website and then you make an application, and then it's an online document. We will also put up a sample Haryana certificate document on our financial aid page. So you can go have a look at it, follow the process. And if you qualify and if you submit the document, then you do qualify for a fee concession. Yes.
Okay, okay. Then is it possible to apply for financial aid in the second year or the third year if you've been denied aid previously?
No, so we do not encourage anyone to apply for financial aid in the second or third year. One of the reasons is we expect that someone who has paid the acceptance fee, this is also part of the acceptance policies that you will see, when you go through the admissions process, that you are accepting the aid grant for all 3 to 4 years. So unless there has been a very significant change in your circumstances, that has affected your original financial planning. So you had planned to pay maybe 20% out of your family members' income and something out of your investments and something out of this, and something tragic happens. So either your family member passes away or your business goes into foreclosure, or something drastic has to happen for us to reconsider revising financial aid in the second or third year. But usually it is a very strict process. It is highly controlled. So I would encourage you, if you are considering joining Ashoka, to apply in the first year. There is no need to try your luck later. Everyone is given an open and fair chance to apply. You lose nothing by applying. So please apply. Let us decide, and then you will not have to worry about this in the second or third year.
Right. And to apply for aid again in the second or the third year, in case of some extreme circumstances, do they reach out to the same email ID, financial
Yes.
aid at Ashoka?
So
Okay.
once you start paying the fees, there is a window we have which is mentioned in your invoice. So if you join the university, you will see it in your invoice. That's the window. Please mark it. But again, as I said, it's only exceptional circumstances. It's not for someone who never thought of it in the first year and decided in the second year that let me try my luck. We are very strict, I will tell you already. We are very generous when you join Shoka because we are trying to help you as much as possible. But once you have taken admission, we expect that you have done this honorably, openly, and not trying to work through the system in a dishonest way. So please be open, transparent, apply for aid in the beginning. I would always just suggest that. Don't wait for the second or third year.
Thank you. The next question is, if the committee decides that you are not eligible for financial aid, does that affect my admission in any manner?
No, of course not. You already have a firm offer of admission. It will not affect your admission at all. It's the process that happens just after admission. But as I said, if the only time it will affect it if in the financial aid process you have been dishonest or misleading. So please don't do that. Just be open, transparent, and cooperate with us. And your admission will be secure. It's not. I mean, the basic question is no, it will not have any effect. But be honest and transparent in the process.
Right. Okay. So someone's asking, what document do we show if our parents have lost their jobs for some reason?
Then you will show the documentation for when they had the job. And then we will ask you, we will actually in assessment, we will call up your parents and we will try and understand what the situation is. So this is a unique case which does not have a common answer. So each case is taken individually and we treat it as a unique case. And then we normally would speak to your parent or both parents or whoever is involved to understand what's going on and seeing how best we can support you. So we also try and see, what sort of job it is, what sort of industry, what sort of level, what sort of designation, and then we try and make a fair decision.
Okay, thank you. Then a student is asking, does financial aid cover the hostel fees as well?
Yes. So if you qualify for financial aid, which is over 100% of tuition, if you go on the financial aid website, you'll see the aid brackets actually. So there is after 100% on tuition, we have a 50% on hostel also that is covered additionally, and 100% on hostel, and also 100% on meal cost. So you can look at all the aid brackets if you go on the website. It starts from 25% all the way up to a full scholarship.
Okay, and the full scholarship covers all the costs, meals,
tuition, hostel tuition, and meals. Yeah.
Okay. And is there a sample of the financial aid form?
Yes. As I said in the beginning, there is a sample financial aid form. Please go download it. Look at all the information that we asked for, all the document list is also on the financial aid page. Make a list, and in case you have any questions, please email us. Don't just assume an answer that, just we are happy to answer all questions. Please email us.
Okay. And does the university have any collaboration with any bank for an education loan?
So also on the financial aid page, we have some banks we have some tie-ups with. One is HDFC Credila. And we are in talks with a few other banks to get them on board to provide education loans at slightly more attractive interest rates. So I think all this information should be up before the offer is made. So if any new banks or partnerships have to be taken on, they will be done before December. So by the time you have to pay your fees, there will be some options on the website. Currently, we have one NBFC, which is Credence, and HDFC Credila, which actually has a partnership with us.
Okay, great. Are there any specific aid provided for defense families?
So we don't have any quotas for any sections. So there is no special quota for defense services, as any other quota for any other services. Everyone goes through the same financial aid process, and everyone qualifies on their own merit. I think one of the things also I want to point out is we get a lot of queries saying, I didn't get aid, but my friend whose father does the same thing that I do, my father does. We are all the same profession. We should get the same aid. That's not how the financial aid process works, because income is not one of our main considerations. You have to know that no two families are alike. Some families have more siblings than others. People live in different cities, where the cost of living is different. People have different assets and incomes and different expenses. So if you have someone in the family who's suffering from a terminal illness and you have fixed medical costs, that's something we take into consideration, whereas another family may not. So I think to assume that just because two parents are in the same profession, hence they deserve a same aid, is not realistic, because we take a very holistic view. We try and be very fair to each family. So please don't compare yourself. That's what I want to say. Don't compare yourself, and then don't complain to us that someone else got that rate. You just do not know everyone's personal family circumstances, but it's disclosed to us. So just trust that we are making the best decision.
Right. In fact, I think that's a very important point, because even in my peers, I've seen that someone did not apply for aid because they thought that their income did not fall under a certain bracket. So I think that's a very important point for them to realize that the office actually takes a 360-degree view of the financial
We do.
situation.
If you actually look at the form, you'll see what sort of view it is. And also when we do assessments, if you mention something in comments, we will follow up on email, or we will call up your parents to understand. So we do take an effort to understand who is applying to us and ensure that special cases are discussed in the committee at length. So we present that, it is a genuine case and we are trying, it would benefit the family. So we do make a case for you. Please, that's why I'm saying be open, honest, and always apply. Don't just assume you may not get aid. Please always apply.
Right. Okay, so the next question is it possible to know at this stage details of all the documents required for financial aid?
Yes. So if you go to the financial aid page of the Ashoka website, I think if someone can just put the link there, all the documents are there, and all the sample form is also there, as well as the instructions. So if you want to be very enthusiastic, you can start preparing for it now. But I think the most sensible thing would be to wait till you are shortlisted for interview. But at least go have a look at the process, familiarize yourself with what is required, um, so that you are not caught unawares when you receive an offer and you only have 5 days. Because 5 days, I can tell you, is not enough time to source everything, from experience.
Yes. Okay, so a student is asking, does my family's ability to procure an education loan qualify as ability to pay?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So just to answer that in detail, when we are considering financial aid, one of the main factors we believe in strongly is that education is the responsibility of the family and the parents. So we expect that there's a certain fee we charge because of the infrastructure and the faculty that we provide and the high quality of education that we provide. So we are not very apologetic about the fees we charge. But we do offer a very robust financial aid program. So what we say is that we ask everyone to take responsibility, look at your income, look at your assets, look at your savings, look at, if you can get loans, see how far you can go to support this education. And if you are not able, through looking at everything, to say that, I have looked at everything and I am still falling short, then please apply for the program. If you feel that you can comfortably afford it, then I would say please do not apply. Let the funds that have been raised by philanthropists, basically, it's someone's money. So we are also audited for the money that we hand out, and so we also try and do it very responsibly. We want to ensure that the people who absolutely cannot do it themselves get it. So, so the main responsibility is the parent. So we try and see if the parent has tried their best and how can we support them. So if we feel that a parent really is not very interested in the Ashoka education, they have no willingness to spend, they would rather go to another university, then that's sort of a non-starting point. We want someone who is committed to the education, is not able to support it, and then we will step in and support. So that's our commitment. We are stepping in to help you bridge the gap between the cost of the program and what you are able to pay. So this is why sometimes even when we are deciding aid, we ask the parents, how much do you think you can pay? And have you looked at every other sources? And then we decide how much aid. So it is very much also a collaborative process in some sense. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much for that. And ITRs for how many years would be required in the financial aid form?
For the last 3 years, and we also ask for salary slips. So because this is, we ask for the salary slips for the last 3 months, but because this is a COVID year and everyone's salary slips are perhaps not very accurate of the actual income. So we may ask you for some previous salary slips just to get a sense of what the actual income is. So I think all this will be covered in the instructions which you receive along with the shortlisting for interview.
Okay, okay. And if one lives in a joint family, but only their father pays for the fee, so will you have to name any other family members as well?
Um, it depends. It's up to you. If it's only your father that's paying, you can mention only your father. But we will ask questions about what is the nature of the joint family. Is it like, is it joint family also working in a business, like, joint family business, or is it everyone employed salary? So each case is taken uniquely. If you have any questions, as I said, just write to us, and I think there's also a phone number you can call us at, and then you can explain the nature, and we will advise you how best to submit the information.
Okay, great. And can the income of a parent mentioned in the application form differ from the financial aid form due to sudden job loss or change of job?
I don't understand. Can the income differ from the documents provided to the
Yeah, so
submission?
if their situation has changed after they've already submitted the financial aid form, so is it all right then?
So by the time you submit the financial aid form, which should be for the first time around the 13th, till the decision is made, which is usually the first week of Feb, hopefully nothing too drastic has happened. But if it has, then please reach out to us. Even if the decision is made and if something has happened, then we will take it into consideration.
Okay. And can we get the Haryana domicile fee concession as well as the financial aid together?
So the Haryana fee concession there is a minimum amount that everyone receives if you submit the document, and then once you clear that, then you're treated as usually an aid applicant, and then we see. So you could be financially qualified for 100+100, that is, like a full scholarship, and you could also be a Haryana resident. So in that case, your Haryana residency has put you in a Haryana resident category, but the aid has been calculated completely irrespective of whether you are Haryana resident or not. So if you are a resident of Haryana and you want to be assessed as part of a global, the holistic financial aid assessment, and you feel that you may get slightly more aid if you apply, then please apply. If you want just the basic minimum, then I think currently we say you don't have to apply, but you will have to submit your ITRs to us, because that we need for reporting to the Haryana government.
Okay, makes sense. And we have a very interesting question here that says, why don't we offer financial aid based on merit?
Because we don't offer merit scholarships. I think this is a stand that the university has taken. It's the philosophical stand. The stand was that we would offer quality education at a fraction of the cost that you would pay in any other country. It's sort of bringing the world to India. Um, but we will also not stretch people who can't pay. It's also not fair to offer an education then ensure that most of India can't afford it. So the program is the policy is also stated in formed in such a way that everyone can benefit from this education. And the philosophy which was developed by the people who started the university was that it's going to be something which is going to be completely need based. So there are many universities who do merit scholarships, and I think there is no dearth of that. But we have taken a philosophical stand not to follow in that. So your admission to Ashoka is considered an acknowledgement that you are meritorious. Apart from that, everything else relating to aid is only need based.
Great. Okay. I think we are done with all the questions. That's about it. Okay. So thank you so much for the session, ma'am. This was indeed very helpful. I'm sure our audience learned a lot about the financial aid process through this. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sanskruti. Moderating.
So our next session in the undergraduate webinar series is scheduled for the same time on October 23rd. This session is on application form walkthrough, which will be conducted by Mr. Rahul Srikumar and Kopal Agarwal from the Office of Admissions at Ashoka University. And trust me, you really do not want to miss this session. The registration link for this is provided in the chat box below. We would also like to invite our audience for the next Scientifically Speaking webinar on the 20th of October at 7 p.m. The topic is Better Living Through Greener Chemistry by Professor Sanyam Sen Gupta, the Associate Professor from IISER, Kolkata. The link for this session too will be provided to you in the chat box below. Lastly, I would like to inform our audience that round one applications for the undergraduate program are now finally open. The last day to submit your application in this round is 18th November. You can start your application by going to apply.ashoka.edu.in. Please visit our website www.ashoka.edu.in for complete details on the admission process and the timeline. If you have any further queries or would like to know more about Ashoka's unique interdisciplinary program, you can write to us anytime at apply@ashoka.edu.in or call us on the numbers provided to you on the screen. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you on Friday, October 23rd at 5 p.m. Thank you so much.